Tracy Ifeachor, thank you for being here. So excited to talk to you about the Pit. What has it been like for you to see the reaction to the Pit and the love grow for it throughout the season?
I mean, at the time when you're making it, you hope that it's going to be something that people will relate to and watch and be able to connect with. And at the time, I remember feeling like, yeah, this feels special. It feels good. It feels right and truthful. And I'm just really happy that everyone has had the reaction to it that they have.
Was there a moment that you could pinpoint at any point where you felt like, oh, like this is a hit, or like people are actually really watching this and responding to it?
I want to say something really profound here, but instead I'll say I remember coming in one day and saying to I think it was actually to Noah, saying to him, now I know this show is going to be an absolute smash hit because I got my identity stolen 3 times in the course of a week, and all these different things happened, and I was like, something I was expecting that I needed got stuck in customs. I went, there's a lot opposing me. And when
Oh
that
my
happened,
God.
I know there's
What
something
happened
great.
there?
No idea. So I was like, yeah, yeah, this is gonna be something. So yeah, while I want to say something profound, that's probably the moment I realized, yeah, this is gonna be something. And I would say just working with such an amazing cast and just the talent that is, John Wells. He knows how to put a show together. He knows how to put something together, and the love and care, I think, that was taken over the authenticity of the piece, I really resonated with and really got on board with.
Well, I know they gave every actor character breakdowns. So what were you told about Collins and her arc this season?
I actually knew that she was pregnant. Obviously, huge spoilers for anyone who has not yet had.
Everyone's seen it by now.
Great, 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 great. Except everyone in England because it's not out here yet.
That's right.
But I know. But we talked a lot about her just being a person who is really driven, has this pursuit of excellence, and had a change in her career. I don't think we got to it in the season, but that she came from this background of finance, and her mentor convinced her to come into medicine, and she just loved it. And she's someone, because it's all set on the same day, she's someone that's kind of, when I look back on the season, she's kind of someone that's having the worst day of her life. And it's all set on a single day. So there was a lot of sort of challenging scenes and challenging moments that I knew she was going to have. That we had an amazing sort of crew that were just filmed it so wonderfully and so carefully. So I knew that she was a driven person. She's about her business, and she's really caring, kind, and has a sense of compassion. And her humanity is really key. It's always on display, even when she's busy doing lots of different things.
That's so interesting that she came to medicine like slightly later in life and it was a mentor.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
those are the really like attracted me to the piece and the fact that we're all kind of, in this thing together. Because I come from theatre. I'm classically trained actor in theatre and moved through screen and film and things. And so I love this kind of roll up your sleeves, everybody's there together. I really enjoy working like that, and I really enjoy collaboration. So that's the thing that really makes my heart sing when we get to collaborate.
Yeah. No
Everybody's
way the show is shot in continuity on a real set and everything with everyone always
yeah,
all the time. So
yes, yes.
the
We once
theater.
had a 10-minute conversation. There was a 10-minute discussion. Didn't stop the camera, but it was a 10-minute discussion whether or not I could roll my sleeves up because they had just seen me 4 minutes ago. So yes, they took it very seriously.
We need the continuity there. So
100%.
how much were you told about Collins and Robbie's previous relationship, if at all?
So we knew that there was a history. We knew that it did not work out. We knew that they weren't together now, but when you've sort of loved someone and they've loved you, I guess, or, you know, it's it's always really difficult to let that go because there's always a tie. It's always under everything. And then you find out that you're working with them again. I think Dr. Collins never thought she would see him again. And then here she is matched with Pittsburgh Hospital. So she ends up working with him, and they kind of have a few awkward moments, but they're full of joy, because when someone really knows you, they know how to push your buttons and you know how to push their buttons. So it was nice finding the tension between them, and exploring that a little bit during the season.
Yeah, for sure. Because like you could sense there was like something there even before the audience found out that they had dated. And I love Collins because it's so obvious that she's one of the few people who can call him out on his BS. And you do that multiple times in the season. Like she told him to check his baggage at the door, like they all do. And going back to what you said, she's also having the worst day of her life.
Yeah.
So like how did it feel to be one of those, like handful of people, even maybe even less, who could call out Robby like this?
It's tricky as well, because you're meeting this other person, this other artist for the first time. And then they are also actually an executive producer. So they're also actually your actual boss. And you're also your scene partner and the writer of the episode sometimes. So it was an interesting dynamic to surf, I would say. But hopefully we did it well.
I love the scene when she approaches Robby about Abbott lowballing the fetal measurements so the teen could get an abortion, and he supports it. And Colin says like, I don't want to jeopardize my future. I don't have tenure, you do. And then he's like, no, you'll be fine. And she's like, no, I won't. Like the risks are not the same for you as they are for me. But there's also like the underlying layer of like him being a white man and her being a Black woman.
What? You noticed that, had you?
Breaking news.
Okay.
But I think that's one thing I love about the show is like the way it really like elegantly tackles like the racial disparity, and especially in like healthcare too. And then later he comes back at you and says like, if you had gone with Abbott's measurements, like they would have been discharged like an hour ago. So it's like he comes back. But what did you think about that scene, and how did you approach that scene, and again like the tension there between you guys, and then him snapping back at you later about this?
Yeah, it was always changed. That's the thing when you are on a set, and pretty much everything was filmed on that set apart from maybe a couple of days in Pittsburgh and one or two moments outside. It's all on the same set, so you never know from episode to episode what's going to actually happen, because you can always go back and reshoot something very quickly and it might change the nature of it. So when I sort of saw that scene, first of all, it was a little different to the one we saw in the episode. I'm a big fan of really letting and inviting the audience to ask those questions. Is it because she's a woman? Is it because she's a Black woman? Is it because she's this? Is it because of education? Is it because, rather than kind of like hitting them over the head with it's these reasons and you. So I was really appreciative of the writer's willingness to kind of be open to that suggestion of, can we not maybe make it so about one thing because it's about so many things, and then it's a little more how I would approach it, or how someone at that level would approach it. You wouldn't necessarily be like laying everything out. You would just, it is what it is, take from it what you will. So when I first saw the scene, it was very different to what it ended up being. But I was really appreciative of Scott's willingness to actually take a look at it and work with me on it and collaborate on it a little bit to make it something that we could invite the audience to make their own decision, their own minds up about. And I think that's better because it creates conversation then. And I think that's really good. I'm really appreciative that he was open to that and collaborating a little bit. Let me throw my 2 cents in. And so I admire their bravery to sort of tackle something like that in such a short amount of time, because it's hard to do, and it's hard to do well. And I think it is done quite successfully in that episode particularly.
How was it for like you as an actor to balance it where, you have to play a character who has to be on and doing her job well and treating patients. But she also has to compartmentalize all these other things going on in her personal.
Yeah. I was kind of living it a little bit because I was away from my own family. When I was 21, I got diagnosed with dyslexia. And so for those who don't know, having dyslexia is a bit like everybody else is carrying 10 pails of water, 10 buckets of water, and you're carrying 11, one on your head and the rest, and still expected to sort of deliver, and the lines are set at such speed. I'm doing a dialect that's not my own. All these wonderful challenges that I love, but at the same time, having to be on and being your own dialect coach and not having a coach on set and all of these different things, but having to still deliver no matter what. I kind of drew from that because it was a high pressure situation, and Collins is having a lot of pressure placed on her as well. So I feel like I felt like I kind of lived it, and I was able to draw on what I was actually going through. And, and all of those storylines about children are so challenging to do. Every woman knows a woman who has had a miscarriage, and, it happened in my own family when I was very young. A family member had a miscarriage at sort of 7 months, and I still remember that child. Every now and then I still think about that child. And so coming to this with that kind of history, it was so, and the whole thing is on a day. So you're always thinking about it. It's always on your mind. It was really challenging. It was really challenging. So I had no idea what it would end up looking like, whether it would be something that was really good or something that was, there's just no way to know sometimes when you're actually making something. I knew the overall piece was good, but I was like, I really want to make sure that my part in it, I'm not going to drop the ball for anybody, because this is a really important project and it means a lot to all of us. And I'm really glad that it translated.
You didn't drop the ball, so
yeah,
it was such a devastating scene. Oh my gosh. Well, we have to talk about the ambulance scene in episode 11. Did you and Noah have any discussions about the scene beforehand?
No, I think we have very different processes. Yeah, I don't want to speak for him because, he could explain his, but from my understanding, he's very kind of focused on all the parts. So I don't think we ever spoke about it, to be honest, or anything like that. Not for any reason. We just have very different processes. But
even better, because the scene is so great.
yeah. So it's like, what's he gonna do? What are we gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So but I think the key is just in those moments to just be really available to each other and just to embrace whatever the other person is giving you. And I feel like certainly I did that, and I feel like certainly he did that as well in that scene. And then just allow yourself to be surprised. And Q Tran, Q, who directed that episode, just did an amazing job. She was really available and she was really accommodating, and she's a true artist and a true collaborator. She's one of I shouldn't have favorites, but her and Silva were my two favorite directors.
Well, I just love the way, Collins reveals her abortion, and the way it was written too was so great, and then she talks about it in the third person, and then Robby realizes it was him, and it's so subtle. And I guess, what are the challenges of playing a scene like that has this much subtext?
Rather than think of, if you look at a scene, like, what is the hardest moment in the scene? I feel like you're already setting it up like it's a mountain. I think you just have to, it's almost like a surrender. You have to go down to the piece. You have to come down off whatever idea you had and just be present and trust the work that you've done offset, and trust the other person, whether you know them very well or not, whether you're very similar or you're very different, but just trust that you both love what you do and you're both really for this piece and this project, and then just see what comes in the moment and really just be open and listen. So I didn't necessarily look at it like the challenges. I looked at it more as an opportunity to really just tell this person's story. And there's so many women who have gone through this, and try not to judge it or condemn it just because this person may or may not have made choices that I would or would never or would make. Just look at it like you're this person and this is what's happened, and you're meeting her at the end of her rope, and we all get to the end of ourselves at some point. So finding the moments where you are similar to this person rather than looking at, oh, I'd never do that, or why did she do this? Those kinds of things I think are important. And then you enjoy it. You enjoy just being present with another person and creating something that wasn't there before. And obviously the writing really helped and did so much work for us as well.
Were you ever told about like why Collins and Robby broke up, or does that not matter to you? Did you make up backstory in your mind?
I did all the time. But, I was like, so what do you think of this? And they're like, nope. As a woman, you need to feel like that, like your person, your other half, your partner, your spouse, they are fully emotionally available to you. And I feel like we can spot when that isn't the case. And somebody that is not fully in touch with themselves because of trauma, because of just trying to keep going, they're always going to feel like they're hiding a little bit of themselves. And that's kind of a lonely place to be in a relationship. And so after, however long of trying to get that part of him, I think you just have to accept the person is not able to give you what you might need in that relationship. And it's, they're a good person, you're a good person. It just didn't work out because it's not the right time.
Yeah.
And to do that.
Well, lastly, you were not in the last 4 episodes of the season, which devastated fans. Everyone was so worried. It was like, why was she not answering her phone? She's just passed out. But do you know anything about season 2 besides the fact that it's going to be on the 4th of July in 10 months?
I do know that there will be a lot of surprises. That is all I can tell you. There will be a lot of surprises.